It's the story of the perfect couple. Isn't that special? On Film Threat Reviews. I'm Alan Ning. I was Zorianna Kit, and today we review Happily, which is in theaters and VOD now. A dark romantic comedy. Tom and Janet have been happily married for years, but a visit from a mysterious stranger leads to a dead body, a lot of questions, and a tense couples weekend with friends who may not actually be friends. It's directed by BenDavid Grabinski, stars Kerry, Bishé, Joel McHale, Al Madrigal, Natalie, Paul Scheer, Natalie Morales, Charlene. It's got a big cast. So what did you think of Happily?
You know, it was this quirky, dark comedy that I was so into it because it was just so quirky, and I just kind of wanted to know where it was going. It had a few different elements in it, like are we going the horror genre here? Oh, but wait, there's like these really interesting dream sequences here, and now there's like this weird character that comes out of nowhere, and like it does have that sort of alternate reality feel, because the premise here is that this couple has been married for 14 years and they still act like newlyweds. They love each other. They apologize when they do something wrong. They have sex all the time. They are the envy of all their friends, which really
they're the perfect couple. I mean, literally the perfect couple.
So because they're the envy of all their friends, that also means their friends actually hate them. That's really what it is. And they get uninvited from this couples retreat because the friends are just so totally sick of them. And one day this man shows up at their house and he's got a briefcase with 2 syringes, and he wants to administer these syringes to them and said that it'll make them normal, because right now they're not normal. And so they don't want to take these syringes. A scuffle ensues, and the man is dead.
Yeah.
And so we don't know at this point, like, what world are we living in? Like, is this like a Twilight Zone thing happening? Like, is this couple a robot, or are we in a world of robots and they're the only real people? Or like, you're just trying to figure out in your head, like, what is this, like an episode of Black Mirror? Like it was fascinating to just go on this ride, because they do get re-invited on this couple's retreat, and off they go, and the story picks up and continues on. And I'll let you take it away, Alan.
Yeah. So you mentioned the word quirky, which reminded me that I didn't mention it stars also Stephen Root. I love Stephen Root.
Yes.
I've been such a big fan of his, from news radio, even to Uncle Frank. Very 2 different roles. Yeah. So this is what I thought about Happily. I loved the setup. I love this idea that here's the perfect couple in the world, and their friends hate them because they're perfect. No other reason. They're great. They're personable people. They're friendly. They could be your best friends, but you hate them because they're so perfect. And then the Stephen Root character comes along, tells them, well, there's a glitch, kind of a Matrix thing, and that they're programmed incorrectly, and these syringes will do it. And they wind up murdering him, and then it becomes this kind of the perfect couple commits a murder. And how's that going to play out? And I really liked it all the way up until that point. And then from there, I just felt like they took this great idea and didn't know how to exactly pay it off at the end. And the way the story pays off, it just kind of it left me, feeling like that.
Unsatisfied.
Was that?
Unsatisfied?
Yeah, unsatisfied.
That's how I felt. I'm with you on that. Like, agreed.
Well, I'll explain it this way. It's like they built it up to this point, and then they let him off the hook, and then they took it into this direction, to this ending that, felt like, well, it's in a sense, I felt like he built himself up to a great point, and wrote himself into a corner. And the payoff just didn't work for me at all.
So just to tell people that, when they end up going on this couples retreat, we meet all the couples who we met a few of them briefly at the beginning of the film. And you realize, of course, that every couple has their dynamics, and they have their own problems, and they all decide to get totally wasted during this one night. And of course, secret spill, you find out someone was in love with somebody and someone had an affair with this person, or someone, like that.
Oh, yeah. And I should point out also that the Tom and Janet, the perfect couple, thinks that that Stephen Root's character was sent by one of them, or all of them. And so they're trying to figure that out because they just murdered the guy.
Yes.
And so, now there's a little tension there.
So, but she goes out to do an alcohol run for the group and she sees him out there. So now she's thinking, okay, but he's not dead. So like, what's going on there? And that part's never resolved or explained, because if you murder someone and bury their body, that you murdered them and buried their body. But that's never resolved. But anyways, so are a lot of things. But really, what happens is that none of these characters change after everything comes up to the surface, after every little dirty secret comes out that should change someone for the better or for the worse. Nothing happens. There's this big coming to Jesus moment where everyone's in a circle and everything comes to light. And then it's like they shrug their shoulders and
move on. Weekend's over.
So it was unsatisfying because these are all amazing actors. Like all these actors, you've seen them in other movies and TV shows, and that's just a room that's chock full of talent, and they're good in the limited one-note characters that they're playing, because these characters are terribly underwritten. I mean, Breckin Meyer, like how many scenes does he have? Like 3, and one he's like putting together a puzzle. It's just like building a puzzle throughout most of the movie anyways, although we find out later that he actually does other things besides building puzzles that we never see. So it's just, they are underwritten roles played by terrific actors that just kind of it's like the movie blows itself up into an awesome balloon and then it just kind of fizzles out.
Yeah, deflates with a tiny pinhole. I liken this to Independence Day. The first half is about the destruction of the world, and then you have the second half where we're downloading viruses on a big alien mothership, and it's like the ending doesn't fulfill the expectations that were built up in the first half, and that's kind of how I feel about this one.
Because you're watching the movie and you're like, oh my god, my rating is going up, like this is going great, like it's just climbing, and then you're just like, I think it's going to go back down a few notches.
Clearly we both had problems and issues with the ending and not feeling satisfied by it. Great cast though. If you're a fan of any of these actors, they give a good performance and you may just like it. So I'm going to guess you gave it a 6.
I actually gave it a 7 because I still would recommend this movie because it is interesting. And it is quirky, and it's a little different than some of the more traditional fare that we see out there. It's just you will, whatever you feel and enjoy going into it, there'll be a deflation at the end. But that didn't stop me from enjoying myself regardless. I was just disappointed, but the ride was still worth it. You're not going to think about the movie afterwards, but if you're going to take an hour and a half to just kind of detox your mind and immerse yourself in something a little odd and amusing, this would be it. So 7 out of 10 for me. I think we both had similar issues, but I don't know. I don't know if this is a movie you would have playing in the background, because you often make that reference about, having a movie play in the background if you liked it a lot. So I think you probably gave it a 6.
Yeah, I did give it a 6. A 6 is a bare recommendation just because of the acting and that setup. But I'm very much a story guy, and to get a 7, you at least have to come through with some kind of ending that fits what you started off with, and this one just doesn't do that. And so again, if you're a fan of any of these actors, go ahead and see it. You know, you'll enjoy it. Stephen Root is just amazing as always. Joel McHale, you know, I liked him a lot in this. So, you know, there you go. I'm just giving you a bare recommendation.
Yeah, and if you do watch it, please comment in below. Did Stephen actually die, or was he killed, or what
was it really the Matrix?
Like what is your theory about, like, were they all robots, or?
Well, you know, my theory is it was just badly written, and you know, how much time am I going to spend trying to figure it out? You know, go ahead and do that below, like and subscribe, and with that, let's get out of here.